Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see the same faces as always, at least the names. Please join in and let's wait a little bit for the people that are a little bit behind or just trying to connect, or they are just making coffee for this webinar. So let's wait like 1-2 minutes more, maybe 2 minutes, yeah, and then we can start. Okay, guys, how are you today? Okay, I'm happy to hear that my the video and sound is okay. Hello, guys. I see Algeria, Wooch, Ireland. Bert, I see you so many times that it's quite interesting. Hello to Singapore. Nice to see you. Okay. 1 minute and we start with the novelties. Do this like this, and yeah, good. Okay, Hungary, Greece. Hello, guys. Even Australia. Nice to see you guys. Okay, let's start in. My name is Krzysztof Wojciechowski, and today I will be presenting you with my colleague Bartosz, that is hidden under SATEL team, and we will be talking today about the new products of that we are starting to sell at October 2020. And yeah, there is a, I think you all already know me. I'm working in the technical department, and I'm be sharing with you all the new information regarding it. Alrighty, guys, so let's start without any more hesitation. In most cases, one more thing before we start. This is webinar, so of course you will be able to see it later on to refresh your informations. Later on, it will be on our website. In addition to it, on the right bottom of your screen, you have this small sign of the hand. If something goes wrong and you don't hear us or you don't see me or whatever, you can use and raise a hand. Then this gives us feedback that everything is fine or not. Okay, another thing, on most time you will see our presentation and my face in the right top corner, but if something is important in there, then you can slide my face lower or even turn it off, as I remember. So you can move it around for you to be able to see a little more of it. Okay, so let's, without further ado, let's start with this presentation. Okay, first, our product is GSM-X-PSTN sandwich module. This is something that we added to GSM-X. As you know, GSM-X looks like this. 1 second. Okay, looks like this. Of course, without this ETHM module. GSM-X is a device that you can connect to every single device on like additional panels, but also to our panels, and have communication like dual path, and you have additional zones and output that you can control with it. So to expand GSM-X, you have, of course, possibility to use a GSM-X ETHM. So this is the ETHM module with RJ45. But also right now, the new device that I'll be talking today is the PSTN-X. You mount it exactly the same as the sandwich. So you put it, maybe I will throw it to wider camera. Okay, so if we have this module, I would a little bit make it closer. Then you put it on as the sandwich, as any other module, as the sandwich in here, like this. This gives you a possibility to use PSTN line, additional PSTN line that is on this board with all the features like DTMFs, etc., etc. Previously, you have PSTN line on board in here, but this is just giving you a GSM line to be able to talk with, for example, monitoring station or end user. With this part, and most of the communication is done by a panel. So the panel is creating the DTMF sounds and send it through this PSTN line if you need. Of course, you can use a GSM line to it and send it as the dual path of or additional information. But with this module, you can use zones on board and be able to put DTMF sounds from this module and send it to monitoring station. So you don't need a panel for it. So this will give you a possibilities like connecting any kind of panel on output and input and send via station. This is increasing our possibilities how the device works. But of course, also you can, because of this GSM-X-PSTN sandwich module, you can do it not only from the panel that they have their own modem that can create DTMS, but also you can use, for example, for our 4-channel radio controller, RK4K, and send this information again. I know that the PSTN line more and more is turned off or it's not used anymore as the analog PSTN line, but in many countries it's still used. So in addition, you can expand. But of course, it depends on the how your country is using PSTN line in general. If you are still using it, then you have additional functionality for GSM-X as the possibilities of this module. Okay, next one is INT-GSM LTE, where I put it. It's in here. As you know, guys, 2G in most countries, it will be turned off in the next few years, depending, of course, on the country. You can find that it will be already done, so no 2G, or it will be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. It depends, of course, of the country and the local laws. But in general, 2G will be turned off almost completely or mostly. So that's why most of our modules have already like GSM-X LTE. There is a of course, Perfecta LTE, there is GPRS-A LTE, and now finally INT-GSM LTE. Only one difference with this module is that it supports 2, 3, and 4G. Rest of it is exactly the same as the normal INT-GSM, so you can use it with any Integra panel and have full functionality of Integra controls, SATEL server communication, and of course DLoad-X communication back to the device. Please remember that if you are using INT-GSM LTE, you have also possibility, you will also need to use a proper antenna for it. This antenna looks a little bit different. As you see, it has a little more antennas on board, or yeah. So this will give you a possibility to connect to 2G, 3G, and 4G. To be honest, there is no additional advantage except that you can use 3G and 4G because transfer of data is very small in general. Even for 2G is more than enough. So there is no other big difference. Of course, in the configuration of INT-GSM LTE module, you will be able to choose which one you wanted to use. But still, it shouldn't be any problem. Rest of it works exactly the same as normal INT-GSM unit. Guys, I know that there is 2G going down in most of the countries. So if you know when it will happen in your country or if it's already done, please write in the chat. Then we could, at least I could know which countries already have turned off or planning like in next 2 years. It will be helpful for me to, you know, if some of you call me, then I can answer with this information. It will be good information to share. Alrighty, about news and new devices about AVAX 2. First new device is something that I was waiting for very long. It's this device. This is ADD200. This is external wireless outdoor dusk and temperature detector. I was waiting for it for very long because this gives a lot of possibilities in the smart home automation, especially if you're integrating it with the Integra panel. And yeah, in general, this module have two functionalities. One functionality is, of course, dusk sensor. So you have 16 thresholds that you can configure it remotely from DLOT-X. With the information when it should trigger zone. With, of course, trigger zone, you can do this. You can use this information in general in the system. So you have in here the table with the information which part or what information, how many locks it will react to it, and how this works. Of course, you can change this configuration remotely using DLOT-X, so you don't need to go to detector and change it. Before we have this dusk sensor implemented in our AOD detector, but it wasn't being able to give you this many levels of threshold that you can choose more. There is a bigger sensitivity of this range that you can choose. Of course, this dusk and dawn detection give you a little more information in ADD. So first of all, it's quite resistant, high resistance against short amount of light. So every single time when, for example, you're driving your car on your to your home, you are using lights in your car, detector will see it, and this level of light need to be longer than 3 minutes. Then you will have information about that the values is different. So if you're sitting in your car with it turn on the lights for more than 3 minutes, this detector will send this information to panel. If it's lower, then it's fine, it won't react. So this gives you a solution for any kind of accidental or short-term changes in the light sensitivity in general. But of course, if you want to test this device, like a dusk sensor, then you can turn on the test mode in the AVAX 2, and then this 3 minutes delay of the detector will be immediately and just react in the same time. So it should be enough for you to test if you want to set a proper lux level or a proper threshold that you prefer. This could be something for you in here. Second part or second detector or sensor in this device is a temperature detector. So this gives you information about the temperature outside of the building. Of course, you can use the detector inside the building, of course, but you can use also AXD or any kind of APD detector. They also, or from the Slimline, send you back information about the temperature. But of course, you can use it also in the inside the building. But in general, this gives you information about outside temperature, and this gives you additional new information inside the Integra panel, especially if you are controlling or integrating Integra panel into smart home functionality. So first of all, this temperature you can show up on the TSI, on TSG, or TSH information on the screen. So if you want to go outside, except of course of the weather forecast that more or less they are accurate. You can see it also on the screen of your keypad, but also you can see the information about the temperature in Integra Control application. With this information, you can use it in a few different ways. So first of all, you can build in automation like the temperature auto rotation inside buildings. You can send this information, for example, to your heating device like a pump or something like this, that can start when the temperature is, for example, lower than 10 degrees or is after like 0, etc., etc. So you can use this information inside the system. And of course, please remember that this is the wireless. So not every single pump or a heating device have a wireless solution, and you need to put a cable going from inside, normally some kind of technical room in the building, going outside of the building, and then just connect a sensor in there. But also you can use Integra panel with wireless detection. So this is one thing that you can use, but of course there is many possibilities, and imagination is your key in this device, because you can use it as the dusk sensor in controlling the external lights, roller shutters, gates. So if you, for example, have if it's already dark, you can turn on the lights outside the building, or when the detector outside see movement and it's dark, then you can control the lights on the stairs, outside stairs, or whatever you want to prefer. Of course, you can close the gates or make sure that the gates are closed with the logic inside the panel. There's many possibilities about the dusk sensor inside, but of course, roller shutters, if it's dark, you can close them to be sure that nobody is looking outside from outside. Of course, temperature detector, first of all, heating. So yeah, you can use it to control any kind of relays inside the building, and of course control the values of the temperature from the Integra panel, like TSI, for example, to control temperature levels inside the building from Integra. So there is a lot of possibilities in this part. But of course, in addition, de-icing, driveways, terrace, gutters, rail guides, and for slider gates. These all things that could potentially be slippery or be ice on them, that, for example, won't allow you to drive from your garage, or, for example, have any kind of that gate won't open, so you can control heaters, small heaters, to for the slide gates to warm them up, not to have ice in there, to be able to fully open gate, etc., etc. People will really, in many cases, if you didn't live through the problem like gates not opening or slippery driveways, you don't know what this can help you in normal life. It's like saving, in most cases, saving you a cost of your car, at least repairing the external parts. Okay, one more thing about ADD. that is quite important. I will slide down to the first slide that we can talk about. Of course, it's working on 868 megahertz, so ABAX2. And there is, of course, encryption for it. There is an echo feature that this can give you more than 2 to 3 years on the battery. Could expand this life. Waterproof enclosure IP65, so this can be mounted externally. There is as you see, mounting holes outside of the box, so there is no perforation inside. There is additional rubber around the cover, and yeah, it's of course you shouldn't put this somewhere where the lights can sun have directly contact with it, because then temperature won't be too precise. And supports 1 and 2 channels, so you can choose, or you wanted to adjust temperature or both of the information there is from it. And of course, operating temperature is from -30 to +70 degrees. So this is quite a lot. One more thing that is quite important: this won't work with ABAX1, so only ABAX2 support. So as the additional information, and of course normal battery CR123A inside there. Okay, we have this. Next device, it's ARF200. So this device is quite nifty little device that could help you, especially for the companies that have different people working, like sales guys and technical guys. So let's talk about at the beginning of the sales guys. In general, this device is giving you information about the signal strength and information about the noise on site. So there is 3 different possibilities how this device works, and give you a lot of possibilities. But for sales guys, you can go with only this device for the site, and you can go into the site, go wherever the detectors you think as the salesman should be, and check the noise status in this place. So this will give you a possibility to check if you can use wireless system like ABAX2 on site on this exactly site. So if you are selling some kind of device, then you will know that wireless is fine for this place. Of course, there could be many different solutions, like if you welding or doing something like high voltage, there could be a lot of interference. So then by this device you can check this and have full information when you are selling or proposing some kind of solution for the site. Then the noise in there is not a problem. For way around, for technical guys, this is also quite nice tool, because you can go to the site before you make a hole in the wall and place a detector. You can use this device to check the signal strength, not only from this device to ACU like ABAX2, but also from ACU to this device. So this can not only check the noise level, but also all the information about the communication both ways to this device and ACU to check the signal strength. So this gives you a lot of additional features in this, to be able to check and test site before you start install wireless devices. This device also was available RIF100 in ABAX1, and yeah, but ABAX1 have a shorter distance. Right now ABAX2 have 2 kilometers of range, so this could be in most cases not used device, but in general still you can find it, especially if you are fighting with the harder buildings like castles, old church, that are where you can find like 1 meter thick walls, etc., etc. So This gives you a possibility to check this. And of course, this works for ABAX 2 only. And yeah, so also you will see my device, what I have in my hand, doesn't have all the markings on it, at least yet. Of course, we will selling with that will look exactly as you see on the slide, so you have full information about the information in there. So you will see that the lower ones are from 15 and to 100. Okay. So of course, this will be able to test not only one channel, because ABAX 2 use 4 channels, and check the information or send the information on all of them to be able to work around any kind of noise that it is. And of course, this is quite quick to use because you're just pushing a button to turn it on. So if we are on this information, how to work with it. So one more thing, information before we show up how this works. In here you have battery. Previous version for ABAX 1 have 9 voltage battery inside, as I remember. This one is a little bit different. Battery is inside, or is inside there. Is 600 milliamps. It should be around from 10 to 20 hours. So this is quite a lot of time. Of course, there is information if the battery is low, but you don't replace the battery in general. Every charging you are doing by this micro USB connector that you can charge it up from your PC or any other device. Okay, how to use it? On the side you have 3 buttons. As you see on the screen, the first button is how to turn it on. I changed the, give 1 second, I changed the camera. And show the full screen. Okay, I hope you see full screen. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. On side you have 3 buttons. So if I press the button, it will turn on. So first information like this. Yeah. Remove this one. Oh, yeah. So this information giving you right now about the information from the panel that I have in here about the signal strength, because this device is connected right now to ACU. So you will see the signal strength of this device of ACU coming back to this module. So first of all, how to use it with the information about the noise on the side. You press the button. Give 1 second. Okay, here you go. So I'll try to point it properly. Yeah. So you have information about the strength. Right now we have very low signal strength because we are quite far from the panel. If I want to have information, 1 second, give me. Okay. So in this LED, you will see 1 blink right now. We are checking the signal level on channel 1. So you will see every information about the signal strength, signal noise in here on channel 1. If I press, there is 2 blinks, and I see the level of the noise on the channel 2. The same goes for channel 3 and channel 4. There is a moment when you hear, I'm not sure if you are able to hear it, but there is a short beep from this device. Then it means, and the level in here will show up higher, lower, depending. This giving you information exactly about the signal's strength in this moment. So this is something that this information is information directly from the panel to this device. So this is, you can check information about the quality of the communication from the ACU to this device. But if I change the middle button, then I am able to check the information from the device to panel, so I know the signal strength of this device inside the panel. And you have all the information in there that you can use as the diagnosis of the information, what is happening on site. Please remember that in general, if you're checking for the noise, the highest is the bad one. Is too much noise, there is too much communication in there, or too much noise in general. But the signal strength, when it's higher, when you hear the beep like this, you know that this strength is around 60 to 75%. So this is higher than better. Okay? I hope this is quite clear. And of course, you don't need to have an ACU on site to be able to check for the signal strength. You just know that you can receive this information without this part. Okay. If you have any kind of questions, at the end, I will try to answer you also for them. Okay, devices for Micra or Perfecta. So right now we also start selling new device. It looks exactly the same as, at least from outside, it looks exactly the same as MMD 300, but inside there is a lot of different parts and additional different sensors. So inside you have 5 different sensors and 5 different functionalities. So we start from the first one is magnetic contact as the normal MMD. It's not 300, then you are able to use it as the normal contact. There is of course magnetic contact with a roller shutter input. In here you have input that you can use it. I'll try to show it in here. There you can put it a shutter magnetic contact that is mounted inside the shutter, and when it's turned, it counts the impulses and then send this information to the detector and send it back to the panel. That you can know that the shutter is closed. There is also a shock sensor inside, so any kind of vibration hitting on the window, so trying to force entry from the window or try to level the window out or rip the window out from the, you can also send it to panel. Of course, there is a shock and magnetic detector, so both of them at the same time. In many cases, you have full protection over the window, because if you open it, then you have information from the contact. And when you use some kind of force to break a window, or if you use a big amount of force, then shock sensor will give you this information. But in addition, you have also water flood detector. There is additional zone in here that you can connect a flood sensor that you can buy separately, and then you can control as the information inside inside the room if there is any kind of water leakage or something like this. Please remember that in this type of detector, we didn't use this shock sensor to be able to change the type of the detector that you want to use. We are using, in this case, deep switches that you can find on board of this detector. So right now with this detector, we are expanding the possibilities of Perfecta and of course Micra devices to for something that was missing in our, it means the shock sensor, and in most cases. So of course it's working on the 433 megahertz, so it's working with Perfecta and Micra. It's compatible so it's grade 2. This is very important. So this device, so shock sensor, magnetic, etc., works as a grade 2. It's compatible. We use accelerometer for the shock detector. So it's this is quite important, especially because we have immunity for the magnetic fields. So anywhere, like if you put it closer to some kind of magnetic door or something like this, then you have immunity for this and you can use this detector. Of course, information about the battery status, tamper protection, range up to 600 meters, and low energy consumption, like 2-3 years for this detector. But of course, it depends how often you are using this detector and the configuration of the e-safe mode. Okay. So you can use this device in most of our panels. So Perfecta WRL, so any kind of Perfecta panels. MTX, so this is a device that you can connect to any panel by the inputs and outputs, and then be able to use a 433 solution, wireless communication with the detectors. Of course, micro devices, if you are using it on your market, and Versa MCU, so you are able to expand Versa possibilities in Versa MCU. And of course, MRU 300, so retransmitter for this device also works, so it will spread this information. If the signal strength is not enough for you on site, then you can use, of course, MRU 300 to retransmit this information to your panel. If we are already with the wireless detectors for Perfecta, then we are not able to go further without talking about new Perfecta. This is Perfecta-IP 32 and IP32 WRL. Of course, WRL is talking about the wireless board in here. In my hand right now, I have Perfecta-IP 32. The difference with this part of Perfecta is mostly because we have RJ45 on board, so you won't be able to use GSM, but then you can connect this panel to your local network, and let's say don't pay for GSM SIM card that you needed to put inside in here, just using a RJ45 in here and communicate via your local network. So this gives you a lot of possibilities, and I know that I was waiting for this type of device that you have, especially for Perfecta, that you have RJ45 connector in here that you can use it. So there is no difference, to be honest. There is a slight difference, of course, with the Perfecta-IP comparing to the others. First of all, of course, you won't be able to send SMS notification or call your phone because there is no modem. But you are able to use internet connection for SATEL server communication, so you still have Perfecta control to be able to control the panel, but also you will be able to use a push notification in the panel from the panel. So this gives you a lot of information still. And most cases I saw that most people are right now focused more on the push notification than SMS, but of course it depends on the end user and their requirements. But we have a lot of questions regarding be able to connect to panel by to local network by RJ45, and don't pay for additional fee for any kind of SIM card. So this is also something that you can save a little bit of money. So right now, as you see, we have full range of the possibilities in Perfecta family. So first of all, we have Perfecta 1632, Perfecta 1632 WRL. It means that on board you have GSM 2G on board, and you can send SMS, use data transmission from the GSM. We have Perfecta LTE and WRL LTE for communication 2G, 3G, and 4G with this panel. So we are able to use this communication, especially on places in the countries where you are losing 2G. Of course, we have Perfecta-T with the PSTN line. If you are in the country where you don't have any kind of or the GSM communication outside of the cities is maybe quite tricky, then you can use a PSTN line. And of course, at the end, we have Perfecta-IP 32 and 32 WRL that give you a possibility to use a local network to send information and save money on the SIM card fees. If we compare them, so if you see Perfecta 16 up to 16 zones, 16 zones and 12 outputs, 32 up to 32 zones and 12 outputs, as the prefix said. On board, you have always 8 zones and 4 outputs, so you can use it in there. Of course, you have for free communication if you have a prefix WRL in there, and of course GSM module on board, depending which one of the Perfecta you choose. In general, the difference between them in most cases is you are using just different type of communication. So GSM unit, ETHM, so local network, or PSTN line for the notification and monitor on reporting to monitoring station. But with our Perfecta-IP, we also implemented something that help you communicate with all other, or you are able to use with all other Perfecta panels. So right now I will disconnect my phone. And okay, so you all know Perfecta control. So it looks like this. You know it already. But of course, you can right now add camera view from your camera. I have in here with me old but still beautifully working Hikvision camera, but it should work with any kind of camera that supports H.254 254, yeah. Yeah, and of course there is already a presets in Perfecta control for easier for you to easier add new cameras. So there is a possibility, of course, to view the information from the camera. There is possibility to save a photo from the camera on your phone. So if you want to have some kind of backup, or you see that someone is moving around your property, you can be able to make a snapshots from him, and it's stored on your phone. So it doesn't matter what happened on site, you still have this information on your phone. You can view not only from the camera, but you can also use a stream from recorder, of course, if your recorder support it. And of course, there's unlimited number of cameras that you can add to one site. So, few nifty things that you can how to use this software. So first of all, if you go right now to any kind of panel that you have stored already in here, you have new icon that you can go in there, and then you see already 2 cameras. Maybe I will show up this on the bigger screen. Give me 1 second. Maybe you will see me a little bit more. So you see already I added 2 cameras, but in general, how to add new camera? On the bottom you have plus button, and you have 3 possibilities. So manual adding camera, you need to fill all the necessary information from there. So all the IPs, ports, RTSP string that need to be after it, users, etc., etc. You can use a discover information. So then the panel, if you are in the same network, your phone or Perfecta control will be able to listen if there is any kind of ONVIF device in the network, and then you just receive this information, or scan QR code. If someone already have configuration and want to share with you, you can use it to be able to read this information. So you don't need to find it, you will just copy it from the different panel. So for me, most pleasure give me discover. So discovering cameras, it found in my local network Hikvision. I can connect to it, and of course I need to put some kind of login. I will do it. I won't show it to you. Okay, so I put a password and press OK. So it found that this is a HIC camera, and I already have information about the profiles that I can use. Normally, profile 1 will be the full information from the camera. Profile 2 will be some kind of backup or additional information from the camera view. So normally lower quality, depends of course how you want to use it. In local network, you can use a high definition, so the best video stream will be best. But of course, if you are on the mobile transfer, maybe it's not the best to use the HD. Depends of course of your network and amount of transfer data plan you have on your card, but nevertheless I can mark to use them pre-configured inside Perfecta control, or I can use my own. And then if I press OK, I have information about the IP address. So as you see in here, I have a local IP address, but of course I can use IP address from my panel. So if I'm using an external IP address, like I want to see what's happening in my home outside of the building and local network, I will use an external IP address. And of course, port if you are using different. So you can change it. You can use different information in here depending what your network. Then press OK. Then press OK again, and we added new camera. So if right now I press this one, I can of course edit it, every information in there. But if I want to see them right now, as you see on top, I have new security system panel, and I have camera in there. I can press this one, and I'm connecting to panel. On left top corner, I have the camera view, so I can press this one, and right now you see me in here. Of course, there is a little bit of delay. This is quite normal. I can, yeah, but this is RTSP and depends, of course, of the camera speed and stream. There is also some kind of delay, like 1 minute, 1 second, or something like this. Of course, depends on the camera. And I can use to make it a full screen if I prefer. And of course, I can make a screenshot if I, yeah. So I can have a possibility to use a screenshot from the view what I see right now. And there is not limited amount of the cameras that I can use like this, and I can switch between them on top. So even if you don't have connection with Perfecta panel at all, because I don't know, there is some kind of problems, or you don't have connection with the Perfecta panel, you still are able to go directly into camera view. So because if for some reasons you don't have a connection with the panel, but you still have a connection with the camera, then you are able to use it. And of course, this support RTSP protocol. So this gives you a little bit more possibilities in general and implement the functionality that you could find in Versa Control and Integra Control about the cameras inside right now Perfecta Control. So this gives you a full possibilities to implement cameras inside the security system as in one application. Alrighty, guys. This was the last thing that I wanted to talk about in here. So let's go to questions. I hope you like it. I hope you find important new information, and I will be able to talk about some question for you guys. So, I see Bartek answered a lot of questions for you. Okay, so let's go with the first questions. If I want to see the cameras outside of the network, how do I have to configure the camera using Discovery solution? So in general, you will use the same way. So you discover the camera, you use the profile that is already in Perfecta Control because it's already filled in. And then you have information about IP address. You can change it to external IP address of your network, so public IP address of your router, and in the router port, for this example 554 for RTSP, you redirect or forward it to your camera or to your recorder, NVR for example, that give you the stream. But this of course will require for you to change the configuration in your router. You can't use for example, this producer, some kind of solution like the cloud solution, etc. This need to be connection peer-to-peer. How do I share the camera to another user? When you have a list of the cameras in here, let's see in the configuration, give me 1 second. Cameras. When you see the list of cameras in here, you have also QR code in there, and then you just scan it. So quite easy and fast. Okay, and this looks like this. Of course, this saves the same information. So if you use local IP address, then it will transfer a local IP address. Okay. How many devices does ADD take up on ACU2? 1 or 2. It depends how you configure it, but you can use 1 or 2 information. I would use 2 information because I would separate dusk sensor and temperature sensor if you wanted to use it. But of course, the temperature will be nevertheless sent to the panel, but it depends on you. 1 or 2 devices. Does INT-GSM LTE supports macros in the Integra Control app? Yes, of course. This is INT-GSM LTE is almost exactly the same functionalities as normal INT-GSM. So Integra Control, macros, all the features that supports INT-GSM, but also give you a possibility to use 3 and 4G. That's all. This is all the difference what is there, but the functionality is still there and give you a lot of possibilities. Okay, noise can be tested without need of another ABAX2 tools to be installed. Yeah, yes. If you want to check a noise, you just need this device. So this will give you full information about what is happening on site, about the noise, because there is no ABAX, so they won't be able to check the signal strength without any additional connection, no PC, no other things, just this device. What we have more? I see there is a lot of questions, guys. So I see something about well, okay. okay, this one. Does shock plus magnetic report as two separate zones in Perfecta? Yes, this is two separate information in there. Okay, next one. PERFECTA-IP is a good solution. It's available also in Perfecta 16. No. With the new panels like LTE, T, it is only Perfecta 32. The price difference is very marginal, and for now we are not planning to implement it in Perfecta 16. So for now, no. But of course, if this will be a requirement, please contact your local, as your contact with our export department, and we can do for you 16 also, I think. Unlimited. There is a unlimited IP cameras because every single connection is separate, so all the information, the amount is, you can make 100, 200, 500, but I'm not sure how you will be sliding through all of them. But yeah, you can put how many the IP cameras as you like. There is no limitation. RF200 can be used for the micro devices, also Perfecta WRL. No, our ARF200 is only for ABAX2. Only. There is no device like this for 433 megahertz, so not for Perfecta WRL, only for ABAX2. Okay. The last one, guys, maybe. No, just thank you. Okay, guys, thank you very much. It was again pleasure for me to give you this information. We didn't see each other quite a long, and because of the coronavirus around, and I'm very happy to see you all. If you have any kind of more questions, you always can ask us on info.satel.pl. We will be happy to answer you all questions regarding this part or not. If I can help you with anything else, go ahead, ask me. If not, thank you very much for your time, and stay tuned for another webinars. I hope next will be soon. Cheers, guys. Have a nice day.